Hi everybody, and welcome to Tuesday. It is our traditional sampler weekly block adventure, and I want to welcome everybody. We've got a lot to talk about today, but actually our block is not going to take especially as long as it did last week. So I apologize for last week being so long. I had this grand idea that I was going to walk you through each step, thinking it wouldn't be as confusing. Some of you got it, some of you didn't. Several people came in this week, and that was fine. I encourage you, if you have questions, please don't hesitate. Call, send me messages, come in. We had several people that came in, and we actually helped them get some things cut. They weren't really quite understanding the whole cut process. So that's what this is all about. It's a learning adventure, trying to show new techniques and to just give an explanation to our new people of how to do this. They're really not that complicated. As I said before, it's all about dissecting the block. I would like to also, behind me, if you see what I have created here, I went ahead and made a wall for my blocks, and I encourage you, as we're getting started with getting more blocks made, that it just kind of looks better, and we can see everything, where we can go to our next block and see actually where we want those colors. I did go ahead with my center blue blocks. Here's our finished piece over here. And with our blue blocks, I have my flower pieces. And as you can tell, I just kind of incorporate these little flower pieces in each block, so that it has a little bit of representation throughout the quilt. And so we do have in stock, if anyone is interested, we have the Fons and Porter design wall. The measurement on it is 60 by 72, and this will now be offered with the 20% discount for everybody that is doing the blocks. And my wall, I apologize, but you can also do this. There are tablecloths when you go to Walmart, and they have the tablecloths that for like your picnic tables and such. And you can turn those around, and the backing makes a perfect design wall. And you know, a few bucks, and there you go. You've got a design wall. Mine, if you are probably noticing, has poinsettias, so it's a Christmas tablecloth, but who's looking at that, right? It's all about the blocks. And so we have our first block, which was week 1, and that was our rail fence. And then we have our second block, the mosaic block. Our third block, which was the one that gave everybody just like all kinds of headaches, is the card trick. And our block that we're going to be doing today is Jacob's Ladder. And I will go ahead and show you, since we're on the topic, but our next week is going to be tic-tac-toe. See, tic-tac-toe, 3 in a row. And I went ahead and put the following week on there just because it was looking kind of funny without another piece there. And I don't know, I don't make these names up, folks. These are traditional sampler blocks. They were created a long time ago, but this one is called Puss in the Corner. And I have no idea why it's called that, but that's what it's called. And so this will be the block after our tic-tac-toe. I do want to maybe everybody start thinking about your blue blocks. When I say the blue blocks, I'm talking about the blue blocks that are over here on our finished picture. You're going to be able to move these around. You do not have to have all of these in the same sequence. Mine will definitely be moving. I just put them up there because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, but that is not the order that I will have my blocks in. And you want to maybe start thinking and possibly even start cutting. If you don't want to do that yet, don't do it, because we did have someone come in and I helped her with her her block, just because she is new and she was trying to understand, and she had a directional fabric, and it was also a fabric that just had little bits and pieces where we had to line up and make sure that things were centered, which also meant when we made the block, then we had to maybe go over quite a bit to find where it was centered again. So there was all this extra fabric that was lost. So you want to think about that. If you've only purchased like 1.5 yards of the fabric and it is a directional, or it is something that has feature pieces that you need to kind of fussy cut, you're definitely going to want to possibly start cutting your pieces. And these are 12-inch blocks. All of them will end up being 12-inch blocks. And we do have a ruler that is a tremendous help. It's actually 12.5 by 12.5, and I had cut mine at 12.5 by 12.5, and then after I cut them out, I went back, remeasured, and just took off the 1/2 inch on the 2 sides. If anyone is interested in possibly getting that ruler, I have one left, but I can certainly order more and have them by the end of the week. And it will be a tremendous help. If you also do t-shirt quilts, sometimes that is also a size that people like to use in the t-shirt quilt. So it is a ruler that you will be able to use more and more. And you would also be able to use the ruler when we start to square all of our pieces up, okay? So again, today's block is the Jacob's ladder, and we are going to be working with our Brilliance 80 machine today, and I'm going to have Tim give you a little look-see at the machine here. And this is our Brilliance 80 machine. It is a sewing machine and also an embroidery machine. And it has 555 stitches and like 584 different designs inside the machine for the embroidery part. And we just give it a little click here, and with all of our machines we do a one-on-one with you. So even though it has this iPad touch screen, don't be afraid, because with our help, our guidance, we can get you working in this machine. And we also have a Brilliance 80 club that meets once a month. However, right now we are not doing any clubs, any classes inside the building. That's why we're doing these YouTube videos. But I will also start doing YouTube videos for all of our people that have embroidery machines. So if you are interested, we do have a special going on this machine this month until the end of June, and it's a up to $5,000 credit with your machine that you have to trade in. So if you are interested, give us a call. We'd love to let you take this on a test drive and see what you think, okay? So this is our Brilliance 80, and we're doing our straight stitch. It's all set up, and we're gonna get ready to start to stitch. Okay, so now our measurements for today for the Jacob ladder. We are going to need our centerpiece, which will be 4.5 inches. And if you look back here, my centerpiece, okay, now I want you to take notice that in our corner blocks here, see how we have two smaller squares that match our center square, and 2 smaller squares that match our center square, going all the way around, so it makes kind of like a cross when we have it turned diagonally. So when you get ready to make these corner blocks, you want to make sure that one of the colors that you are using is going to be whatever you're using in this center block, okay? So our large triangles down here are 4 7/8 that are going to be these here, okay? So you need 2, you need 1 color, you need 2 of them here, okay? You're going to need 2 colors. So I have the white as one of my colors, and then I have my floral as my second. So I need 1, and then I need 2, okay? So 2 of each color. I need 2 white and 2 floral. And then those are going to be, use your little triangle cutter here to be able to size up and put your 1/4 inch on there, okay? So you're going to go ahead and cut those into your triangle pattern. And then at the end here, I have the small squares, which are going to make up your cornerstone. And the easiest way, they need to be 2.5 inches. So you can go through and you can make 8 2.5 inches and just keep cutting, or you can do a 5-inch triangle, or I should say square, a 5-inch square, and then be able to cut that in half, okay, and then in half again. So that Tim's giving me directions. Okay, so I'm going to go through first and show you, because I've had several people asking on cutting. Still having some issues on the cutting with these Creative Grid rulers, okay? I put this on a white piece of paper just so that I could show you and you could see better and not seeing all of the grid underneath. But if you can see my ruler here, okay, this is our 6 by 12 ruler that I'm using. And I am going to line this up with 1, 2, and then these little white lines, are you able to see those white lines on there? Okay, there's some little white lines right here, okay? The ones in the center are going to make my 1/2 inch. So I am going to line this up, and when I line up, I am making sure that I have a line that's going across the bottom here, okay? And then I have, I was at a 1/4 inch there, not a 1/2. Okay, and then I have my 1/2 inch, and it matches all the way up, okay? And then if I look at the top, that matches with that line that's going all the way across here, okay? So I am going to go ahead and cut this, because that's going to be my 2.5 there, okay? And then I lift that, and I'm going to do it again here. This is going to line up at 2 I'm sorry. This is going to line up as 2.5, so 1, 2, and here's my 1/2 going across the bottom there. But my sides are even with that piece of fabric. And then I'm going to take and I'm going to go straight across like this. And this gives me my 4 pieces that I need, and it will be 2 in each cornerstone block, just like this, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and do this here again. So if you just watch this, I line up, so 1, 2. I know it's if you guys think this is hard to understand, watching it, you should try teaching it on a video. When I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure that you're able to see as much as possible, but sometimes it just doesn't work out very well. Okay, And so then I go and give that a cut there and scoop this down. And I do a 2.5 cut here. And again, I will have these going right along with that, okay? So this way we can go ahead and stitch this together to be able to make our last cornerstone that needs to go in here. I tried to go ahead and make sure that this week everything was pretty much done and laid out for you, so that it wouldn't make the video as long. I went ahead and did my cornerstones. And then I have my 1/2-inch squares that I put together, and then I have my centerpiece. So right now I'm going to go ahead and show you about stitching together the cornerstone, and then we'll do the triangle piece and then go ahead and get them all put together, okay? So we are going to lay this out, and we put one color on one side and the other color on the other, and just give it the diagonal look here for each color, okay? So I've got my red there with my green. I'm going to flip this over on top, okay? Just like this, and go over to the machine, and I'm going to stitch the part that's closest to the my right hand. So see, when I'm laying this down, and I think this is where a lot of people were getting confused last week, because when I'm doing it and you're watching it, it's kind of backward, so I'm not really like able to show you unless I tell you like what to do with your right hand and your left hand. So I'm going to take my right piece here, I'm flipping it on top of the left piece, and then when I pick it up, the side that is closest on my right hand here, okay, that is where I'm going to start to stitch. And I'm just going to stitch straight down, okay? And again, it's a 1/4 inch. It's always, always, always a 1/4 inch. And I've had several people coming in and asking about the 1/4 inch foot, and also the stitch plate. Let me put that down so you guys can see me here. And if anyone is needing the stitch plate, if we have your particular machine style, then we should be able to get it. If we don't, we'll be able to order it, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this other piece as well, and then take it over to the ironing board so that we can press those. And now all I want to do is just that 1/4 inch. You gotta love a thread cutter, I tell you. Okay, and so now when I come over here, and remember what I said, I gotta wait my iron up here, but we always want to press down first, right on top of the entire piece we stitched, and then we're going to open that. Just open it up and give it a good press. Okay, and the same with this one. Now, when I do this, I want to make sure, remember, we want these to lay as flat as possible. So my seam here is going toward my green, okay? So now I want this other seam to go toward my red. So I am going to open up, let's see, I'm putting my red and then toward my red, yeah. So I am going to open that up, and I am going to iron toward my red piece so that it will I'm trying to iron toward my red piece. There we go. Because this way when I go to put these together, then they will lie flat. I have a piece here that is, hold on. I've got a little piece that had a little cut in it there, so I think it just kind of missed a little bit of a trimming. Okay, now I'm going to, because we want these to be diagonal, right? So I'm going to take the one that's closest to me and I'm going to flip it on top of the other one. All right, but I did not iron that going down the right way. So let me come over and stitch that one. And let's see if this one works. So I want it to be opposite. Yes. Okay. I do that a lot when I'm going through. I will tell you, normally, which we're going to go over this after we get into the 6th block, and then we really start putting things together. I'm going to show you a little trick that I do with my quilt pieces. And normally, I always open everything up. I usually don't put my seams from right to left, but I'm doing this because of all the new people and we're trying to explain how it's supposed to go. But normally I will just open everything up flat like this and you'll see why. And after our 6th block, that's how I'm going to go back to my normal. And being able to do that. So let me go ahead. We're going to match these pieces up, okay? And then you see we've got our bottom pieces going to the left, our top pieces going to the right for our seam. And we want to take one of our little magic pins here. And this was another, I've had some questions on how to get that perfect point. So are you able to zoom in here? Okay, if you see my seam right here, okay, and I put a pin right here in that seam. And when I come on to the other side, see, I'm right here on top. Now it doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes you kind of have to fish around and make sure that you have meeting the seam on the other side. And so when I put it in there, I just double check to make sure that that pin is going right there on top of that seam. Are you able to see that? Okay. And then you see here. Okay. And now I go ahead, just because it's, I just know for sure that it's going to stay put, go ahead and stick a pin on each side so that we know that is what we're going to have to stay put, okay? And we're going to go ahead and stitch that side together. And again, that's the 1/4 inch. And get my awl ready. Several of you purchased the awl, and so I hope that you're able to use it and like it as much as I do. And when you do come across coming up to your pin, keep your piece in, because I've had several people that have said that they are still they put pins in, but they are taking the pins out before they even get to them, which can cause you to have a little slippage in your your fabric, okay? So just wait until you get right up there on it, and then you can go ahead and pull that out. And it really does help if you have that awl, because that real sharp pointy part here, that really does help. And it hurts too, like if you actually get poked with it, it does hurt, so you gotta be careful. Okay, so we're gonna go back over here and iron this piece down. Give it a little press. My iron likes to sleep a lot. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do here is just open this up. And then press that open. And now we have our next cornerstone piece. We're gonna, and if you see my points there? See how they came together? We're gonna line this up. And again, we want our center block here, we want the cornerstone blocks that are the same color as this touching, okay, your center block. Now, we are going to go ahead and stitch together. Like I said, the bigger block, you want to cut 2 of one color and 2 of another. If you want to have them to be the same, if you look in the sample block that's up here, like they only used 3 colors and I used 4 in mine. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I've got four different colors, and they used 3 in the sample piece. And so they used the same color in this block down here. Well, let me show you over here since this one's next to one. They used the same color in here, okay? 1, 2, yeah, because this here's making like your ladder part, and so these were the same, so that means that this would be the same as this color here. But I liked being able to use the 4 colors just to kind of showcase it a little more. And so on the other side, when we went ahead, like I said, I went ahead and put those together. But don't forget, if you have the Fons and Porter 1/4" ruler, you would just set this down and be able to do your measuring, cut that. And then you have your 2 pieces that you can put right sides together. Okay. And again, we're doing our bigger triangle blocks here. So all I'm going to do is just give that a stitch. I guess I need to probably, for our newbies here, let's go ahead and pin. And remember, you always want to pin in the center. And what a little easy kind of quick snippet example is to go ahead and fold that in half so that you can find your center if you don't want to just kind of go potluck at it. And then do it on both pieces, okay? So we're gonna match these 2 together then. So we have our seam, and then right sides together. We're going to put our seams together here. Okay, and match those up. And then you want to pin in the middle first, and then go to the outside, do the outside pins as well. Okay, we'll go on over here and just stitch that part up. I let it hit my finger, so I got it, there we go. And again, once we get up here to our pin, okay, then we can go ahead and pull that out. Let it get all the way up there to the pin. And pull that out. That's another nice thing about these magic pins. I love the little shank that it has to be able to hold on to and grab so much easier. And okay, we'll take this over and give that a quick press. And then we're going to fold this. I'm going to put my white part down first. And then press that open. Now, another thing I've had people asking about, which again will come into our block 6. I'm going to have a whole lot of stuff for you in block 6. So everyone is asking about the dog ears, okay? If those dog ears are bothering you and you don't want to mess with them, then just trim them off. So you can just you can trim them, you can use a ruler, whatever you feel comfortable with. If they really bother you, just get rid of them. I normally don't mess with them because of what I'm going to show you that I usually do, and that will come when we get to block 6. Because if everybody wants to do what I usually do, then it'll take some time to kind of go through and be able to get your pieces squared up, okay? So, all right, now we have all of our pieces together here, and now it's time to get it all put together. So I am going to, the end that's closest to me here, I am going to take this top piece in the corner and I'm going to flip it to my left, okay, and I'm going right on top of my triangle piece here, and I don't think I have any seams that I need to mark. And let me just show you one more time because I know this is going to be a question. All right, so I am taking the part that's to the right here, I've got it into my triangle shape. So don't get that confused as if it was a square. Maybe I should make it a square. That way let me make it a square real quick. That way it won't confuse you, or hopefully it won't confuse you. Okay, so I have my square, my big square here, okay? And now my row that is closest to me, I am going to take the part my corner that's on my right, I am going to flip it right on top of the corner that's or the piece that's in the middle. And right here, my right side, that is what I am going to come over and stitch, okay? So I need to take my pin and I need to pin that, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and, like for our newbies here, if you are not comfortable with just going over and stitching these smaller pieces, do not be afraid to use your pins. That's what they're for. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do our 1/4 inch sure that my piece is staying down. I have a seam underneath, so I needed to make sure that that was staying down. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and press this, open it up, and give it a press to the right. You want to make sure that you are pressing these after each one so that you make sure that you have a nice flat area when you get ready. So I'm going to go ahead and do these next couple of rows. So you're going to do the same thing here. You're going to flip this, the one that's in the middle to the right, to the center, and then you're going to press that and then put that one on top, and then the same for the next row. And then we will put the 3 pieces together. Okay? So I'll be right back. Okay, so now after we get all of the rows of blocks together, we're going to take our top block, the block that's closest to us, and we're going to flip that right on top of the center block, that row of blocks, okay? And then you need to go ahead and pin, and you're going to start with your center, your 2 center seams, and you want to match those seams to the seams on the back, and then put a pin on each end. And I went ahead and put one in the center because I kind of had a little bit of a bubble in there, so that way I can get a good stitch. And then I want you to press this open. When you're done, you're going to press the top and then press it open, and then you're going to do the same thing with the bottom. And you're going to just take and flip the bottom right on top of the middle piece, okay? And then do your pins, and we'll come back when it's all done, okay? Okay, I have finally attached my 3rd row, and I am going to go ahead and press that down and open up my block, and just give that a good press. And we have our Jacob's ladder. How about that? I'm just curious to know if anybody has a favorite block so far. I already know the answer to the easiest block, which was number 1, the rail fence. And I think I kind of know the answer to the hardest one so far. I think that was last week, card trick. But this one was pretty simple. When you really think about it, it's pretty simple. So there is my Jacob's ladder. I can't wait to see yours. Everybody's blocks are coming along great. Great colors. You guys are doing an awesome job. Real quick, I will be putting the cutting instructions on Facebook for our tic-tac-toe for next week. And again, that's over here. Here will be next week's block. So you're going to, again, work with 4 colors. So you're going to want 4 of one color, and then 5, and then decide what you want for your lines and your little squares in the center there, okay? You haven't seen me behind the scenes here, but I've got some little mini Oreo cookies. Oreo cookies are absolutely my favorite. So we do have our giveaway of Oreos for this week in our snack bowl. And now it's time for our drawing. And Tim gets to shake it all up there. He gets to draw, swish them around. And let's see who we've got this week.
Jody Jones.
Jody! It's Jody Jones! Yay! congratulations, Jody. You win 1 yard of fabric. And so you can come in and pick that out anytime. And you also get the Oreos. If you don't like them, hopefully your husband does. So everybody, until next week, next Tuesday, let's stitch, stitch, stitch. We'll see ya. Bye.